All right, I ain't got time for people. I ain't got time to wait for people. Hi, Miriam. How are you? Yeah, I can't log. That email is only on my laptop, and I lost the cord for it somehow. But I'll troubleshoot it, and I'll get back to you. Thanks for sending me an email. All right, a couple things to cover. Number one, Kendall Jackson wine is disgusting. Don't ever buy it. It's horrible. Let's see. Let's put my background on. Okay. Hey, Lawrence, how are you? Miriam, Lawrence in the house. Thanks for being here. I'm just going to run through it. You guys can watch the replay tomorrow. I don't really give a shit. All right. First and foremost, my girl, our conservative suicide girl, otherwise known as, oh my God, it's Barbie, conservative Barbie. She's doing really, really well in the Inked magazine competition. So I just wanted to remind everyone to continue to vote for her if you have a Facebook account. Okay, let's take a look at her again. Let me go ahead and remind you who she is. She's over here looking like a snack. She's in number 1. That's Barbie, Barbie, Barbie. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put the link for you. I need you guys to vote. If you have a wrench, please keep reposting this link. Okay, however long you stay in the chat, please repost that link. My girl Barbie is killing it. She is in the semifinals. I believe this is the quarterfinals. No, the semifinals. And she's always looking amazing. Her favorite tattoo and why? My favorite tattoo would have to be my We the People tattoo. The reason it's my favorite is because it gives me hope in these uncertain times. Regardless of race, sex, religion, or color, we are all the same and we all need to come together to help our hurting country. What is one thing that you would like everyone to know about you? Intensity and empathy never waver. They mesh when a balance is needed or can be shown separately. If you were voted Inked Magazine's cover girl, what would you do with $25,000? If I were to win the $25,000, I would donate a portion of the winnings to homes for our troops and the other portion for my children's college funds. I believe she has 2 kids. And fuck, I wish I had that fucking body. Like Barbie, gorgeous, gorgeous Barbie, always looking like a snack, always put together, always fly. That's our girl. That is our girl. If you have Instagram, I'm sorry, not Instagram. If you have Facebook, please click the link and give her a vote. Okay. We need to keep her in the top because she's representing us. She's representing our people. Okay. Now, I'm not backtracking, but I did say that we're not here for entertainers. Okay. But Barbie's not an entertainer. She's just a mom. She's just a regular mom who happens to be gorgeous and happens to be totally tatted up. Okay. So, Inked Magazine is a huge publication. And to get her on the cover means we get our message out. Okay. I call her our conservative suicide girl for a reason. Okay. She's beautiful, and I'm going to probably see her in a week and a half. And I will take lots of pictures because I failed to take any pictures of her last time. I'm going to take lots of pictures of her so you guys can see. And she's a really nice person, too. Okay. Next up, I said, now regardless of how things turned out with Mr. Prather and his campaign and his 73,000 votes, I said that I wanted us to send a thank you note to his attorney because I think I touched on it before. 8 days before the primaries, Facebook banned him. They put him on a ban or they suspended him. I don't know how Facebook works anymore. Like, I haven't been on Facebook in a decade. Okay. Over a decade, probably. He hired this attorney, Mr. Paul M. Davis, to represent him. And even though it was probably a little, it was too little too late, the success was that he was able to, this attorney was able to reverse the ban. And not only that, his attorney got Facebook to try to keep it private. So that's not a win for Chad, but it is a win against Facebook. So I want us, oh, you voted for her? Thank you so much, Lawrence. I want all of us to write him a thank you note. Okay. He is on Twitter. If you have Twitter, okay. He is at Fired Up Texas Lawyer. And he's also on LinkedIn. Okay. So if you have LinkedIn, hit him up on LinkedIn. If you have Twitter, hit him up on Twitter. Let's see if he has an Instagram. I'm not sure. Does he have a website? McNeil. Paul McNeil Davis. He has a Yelp page. So go leave him is this him? I'm not sure if that's the same Paul Davis. Might be. Doesn't look like it. Okay, so look. All right, you got options here. Hit him up on Twitter or hit him up on LinkedIn. Okay, for those of you who are all professional and shit, send him a message, connect with him, and let him know we appreciate, as conservative patriots, we appreciate the work that he did for Chad. Okay. Chad Prather plaintiff versus Meta Platforms, formerly known as Facebook. Temporary restraining order. Okay. So he put this together and he won. Okay. And he embarrassed the shit out of Facebook, which is good. All right. So that's a small step forward. Doesn't really help Chad and his 73,000 votes, but it definitely put Facebook in their place. So we want to say thank you. We want to say thank you to attorney Paul Davis. Okay. Next up. Ooh. I don't ever really want to have this guy's name in my mouth again because he called me a hoe because he got mad at me because I made that video. But Mr. Tario, he finally got added to the indictment for Boondock Saints. And his name got added to Rufio's, Joe Biggs, Zach's, Charles Donahoe, I've never met him, and Dominic Pizzola. Okay, I've never met him either. I'm trying to see if there's a way to bring up the file on the screen. Otherwise, I will just read it to you. Now, there we go. No, that's not it. I would never be happy. I am not happy with this situation. I am not happy at how anyone has been made to suffer for standing up for their country. Okay. I'm not happy about that. And I don't want, I mean, even though Enrique hates me right now, I don't want him to go to jail. But on the flip side, if everyone else is in jail, then he should be too. And that's how I felt about Josh Pruitt for the longest. Josh Pruitt was the one who did the most, and he got to stay out of jail for a fucking year. Meanwhile, people, other frat boys who really didn't do much of anything have been suffering, taken away from their families, smeared, while Josh Pruitt got to gallivant around TikTok scamming women for money and threatening people's lives. I had a problem with that. I had a big problem with that. And so finally, try to put myself in the middle. Okay. So looks like Tario got indicted. I don't know if they just reported it today, but it looks like this was dated from September 14th. Okay, so let me go ahead and pull this up and we can read it together. It's a little bit long. I'll try to skip over it and just try to find the parts that pertain to him so that we do not smear the frat boys that I do truly, genuinely care about, the ones that are truly, genuinely good people. So here we go. Can y'all see it? Y'all see it? All right. See if I can make it any bigger. Okay. Okay. The United States versus Rufio, Joe Biggs, Zach, Charles Donahoe, Enrique Tarrio, also known as Henry Tarrio, and Dominic Pizzola. Violations: conspiracy to obstruct official proceeding, obstruction of a official proceeding and aiding and abetting, obstruction of law enforcement during civil disorder and aiding and abetting, destruction of government property and aiding and abetting, bullshit, assaulting, resisting, or impeding certain officers, bullshit, robbery of personal property of the United States, bullshit. The grand jury charges that at all times material to this indictment on or about the dates and at or about the times below. Transfer of presidential power in the United States. I'm just going to skip over this. I haven't read this totally yet, because this is the same shit that all their paperwork says. Okay. Background: Enrique Tarrio, Ethan Nordine, Joseph Biggs, Zachary Rill, Charles Donahoe, and Dominic Pizzola, and other individuals known and unknown to the grand jury are affiliated through their membership in the Proud Boys organization. The fraternity describes itself as a pro-Western fraternal organization for men who refuse to apologize for creating the modern world, aka Western chauvinists. Like, who wrote this? Like a 12-year-old? Literally, who fucking wrote this? Frat boys members routinely attend rallies, protests, and other events, some of which have resulted in violence involving members of the group. There is an initiation process for the new members of the frat boys, and members often wear black and yellow polo shirts or other apparel adorned with frat boy logos and slogans to public events. Through at least January 6, 2021, Enrique Tarrio was the national chairman of the frat boy organization. Throughout the United States, there are local frat boy chapters, which are typically led by chapter presidents. Each chapter has a degree of autonomy insofar as the president of the local chapter governs that chapter in its geographic location. All right. Tarrio is a 38-year-old resident of Miami, Florida. On January 6th, Tarrio was the national chairman of the frat boys. From at least in or around November 2020, Tarrio used his platform as the leader of the frat boys to publicly post statements in response to the projected results of the 2020 election. On November 6th, Tarrio posted a message that read, "The media constantly accuses us of wanting a civil war. Careful what the fuck you ask for. We don't want to start one, but we will sure finish one." Yeah. And again, I'm saying this as your disgraced den mother. If there are any frat boys in my chat or watching this, I only say this because I love you. You guys should have hired a better spokesperson. Clearly, if you needed a brown shield, you could have used me, because I certainly wouldn't say anything like that. You guys became heroes in a lot of patriots' hearts, and then you get this fucking compromised individual to run his mouth, and he certainly, I mean, he didn't really make you look worse, but he certainly didn't make you look better. That is for sure. Okay. On November 12th, 2020, Tarrio posted a message that read, "Fuck unity, no quarter, raise the black flag." I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done that. On November 16th, Tarrio posted a message that read, "If Biden steals this election, the frat boys will be political prisoners. We won't go quietly, I promise." Probably would. See, this is not a judgment on his character, even though if you want judgment on his character, just, talk to Milo. Milo has plenty to say about him. I don't need to say anything. This is strictly from a business standpoint. This is strictly a business perspective. Okay. You have this frat fraternity that is so villainized, so hated, constantly harassed, okay? But the problem was when Trump said, stand back, stand by, and stand back, that was your opportunity to be heroes. And that was your opportunity to showcase the good men. And you probably could have gotten a lot more support from the Patriots, because still there's a lot of conservatives who don't think very highly of the fraternity the way that I used to. Okay. When you hire somebody to be a publicist, or you hire someone to be a spokesperson for the media, that is a marketing job. That is not a job that you give to someone with as many fucking skeletons in their closet as Mr. Tario has. Okay? It is a marketing job. And if you needed a brown shield to try to make you guys look like you weren't racist, which I don't and will never believe that you are, because coast to coast, the frat boys have treated me like a princess. Like, I love some of them. Some of them I fucking hate, but it's a job that needs to be taken seriously. And I understand that as far as the radical left media goes, there was nothing, and I'll give Tario credit here. There was nothing he could have done or said that would have made it better. Okay? But when it came to the perception of the frat boys amongst conservatives and Republicans, people who had seen these guys, been protected by these guys, interacted with these guys, what you need to do is you need to have an upstanding man in that position to change the optics amongst the right. And that's where the fraternity fucked up. You can't hire somebody to be your marketer who is going to say things like this. Okay, and I know it's very easy to judge from the outside looking in. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Okay. But okay. The low level, base level street attitude that this guy has could have been completely turned around by someone else. If you'd have put someone else in the position that was an upstanding father, married, making money or had their own business, veteran, somebody who could have improved the optics, and someone who could have spoken better to the Patriots. But instead, they get this former Fed. I don't know if I should still call him a Fed. He might write me another letter and cuss me out. But all I'm saying is that, like, when it comes to certain things where, like, you're the single person that is only allowed to speak to the media, you put someone in that position that you can't dig up dirt on. That's all I'm saying. Okay? So from a business standpoint, he was an utter failure. Okay? Utter fucking failure. And I am only saying that with love. I am only saying that because love disciplines. And this is a fraternity that has no discipline or cohesiveness. And it's sad because in my eyes, they were larger than life. They were heroes to me. Some of them still are. Some of them still are. There's so many good men. And then there's so many good men in the fraternity, and yet you put this piece of shit as your publicist. I just don't get it. Just saying. Let's keep reading. Okay. On November 25th, 2020, Tario reposted a social media post by Joe Biden that stated, "We need to remember we're at war with a virus, not each other." Tario then posted, "No, you need to remember the American people are at war with you, no Trump, no peace, no quarter." From at least in or around November 2020, okay, we're not going to talk about the other ones. It's all dumb shit. Okay, on December 12th, Tario and other members of the fraternity attended an election-related rally, sometimes referred to as the Million Maga rally in Washington, D.C. The December 12th rally was organized as a protest of the presidential election, and the date of the protest coincided with the certification of the Electoral College results in each of the 50 states. While in Washington, D.C. on December 12th, several proud frat boys were involved in an altercation in which frat boy members were injured, including a knife wound suffered by person one, and that was person one, I guess, is Ethan. I don't know. Or it's Jeremy. I don't know who they're referring to. I feel like he got stabbed before that. Anyway, I could be wrong. I'm not going to read about that because, I'm not trying to say too much here. On December 17th, 2020, Tario posted a message on social media in which he admitted that he was the person responsible for burning the banner. Tario claimed that he took action because he would not stand by and watch them burn another city. Tario ended his message by stating, "Come and get me if you like. What I did was wrong. I'll let the public decide." Okay. That's probably the most intelligent thing he's ever said. There's a way to be defiant without being ghetto, without being ratchet. Beginning in late December 2020, Tario and a handful of other members of the frat boys created a new chapter for the frat boys that would consist of members from across the country. The new chapter was referred to as the Ministry of Self-Defense, or MOSD. Tario described the MOSD as a national rally planning chapter that would only include hand-selected members. The small group of leadership of the MOSD included Tario, Nording, Biggs, Reel, and Donahoe. Immediately after forming MOSD, Tario and the leadership of MOSD began preparations for Boondock Saints. Tario also created an encrypted messaging group for MOSD leaders where MOSD leaders could communicate. It's probably on Telegram. On January 4th, 2021, Tario was arrested in Washington, D.C., and charged with destruction of property and possession of two large capacity magazines in D.C. Superior Court. He was briefly detained after his arrest. Tario was released at approximately 5 p.m. on January 5th after having been ordered to leave the District of Columbia. Tario did not immediately comply with the order to leave the District of Columbia. After being turned away from the Phoenix Park Hotel, Tario traveled to a nearby underground parking garage where he met with Elmer Stewart Rhodes, the founder and leader of the Oath Keepers, and other individuals known and unknown to the grand jury for approximately 30 minutes. During this encounter, the participant referenced the Capitol. Thereafter, Tario left the District of Columbia and traveled to Baltimore, Maryland. Subsequently, Tario's designated MOSD leaders and other individuals whose identities are known to the grand jury carried out the MOSD leadership's objective. Oh, they make it sound so serious. Oh my God. See, that's what I have a problem with. And this is why I think most people don't like Enrique. Okay. It's the timing of it. It is the timing of it all. So you got kicked, you flew in with this paraphernalia when you know you should have fucking drove. I mean, if you're gonna carry that, especially when it has the logo on it, you knew you should have fucking drove or taken a Greyhound. You flew in, got caught, and then sent everybody else to go. That's the problem. That's why people say he's a Fed. That's why people say he's a snitch. That's why people don't fucking like him. It's the timing of it. It's not what you did. It's when you did it. Just saying. Let's see if there's anything. Half of this is probably bullshit. I mean, I don't know. Like I'm just reading it. Okay. I mean, on December 19th, 2020, shortly after plans for the rally on Boondock Saints Day were publicly announced, Biggs sent a private message to Tario in which he stated that the frat boys recruit losers who want to drink. Biggs suggested, let's get radical and get real men. Well, that's partially true. It's partially true. That's the divide. You have the party boys, you have the rally boys, and the rally boys are sometimes pieces of shit too, I appreciate what they've put on the line to protect us. But like I said, I'm at a place in my life where I don't trust alcoholics. I just don't. I don't trust them. I don't like them. I don't respect them. And I have seen the stupors that these men get into. And yet, they don't really do much for the public, They don't really do much for the cause. They did at one point. But I just hate it's a personal thing. I just hate alcoholics. I've been around too many of them in my life. Trying to see if there's anything in here worth reading. Some of this we already fucking know, so I don't even want to repeat it. Tario advised that the marketing section would be led by Tario's Biggs and Nordine. Tario advised that a second tier of leadership would consist of 8 regional members. Marketing, there's that word again. Now, I'm not saying that Enrique didn't do, maybe he didn't do anything positive for the fraternity. But putting someone like that in a marketing position was not smart. Just saying. You don't put somebody who has no sales or optics talent in a position like that. Just saying. This is all redundant shit. I don't even know if we need to read anymore. But the point is, we have a fundraiser for Zach coming up in the beginning of April. So I humbly ask you guys let's take care of his wife and his kids. Because this is all bullshit, It breaks my heart. I cry over it quite frequently because I get very overwhelmed on Twitter with what I read, with what Antifa says, and with what some of these reporters like Scott McFarland say. And it breaks my heart because this is not the America I grew up in. And I'm not saying I want Enrique in jail. I don't want any of them in jail. But it does seem a little funny that he got to be out. He got to send everyone else in. They all go to jail. He doesn't go to jail until September. He goes in for 5 months, gets out. And now all of a sudden I guess he's got to go back in. Okay. If you guys want a copy of this, I will give it to you and you guys could read through this shit because this is just nauseating to me. I'm just saying, if one goes to jail, they all should go to jail. You know, it's still very suspicious to me that Enrique and Josh Pruitt got to be out living their best lives for months while the veterans, I mean, I don't know if Rufio's a veteran or not. I've never met him. I mean, maybe I have and don't remember, but I don't think I've ever met him. At least when it comes to Zach and Joe Biggs. These are two of some of the best men I've ever met in my life. Good men. They get jammed up, and they've been jammed up since like March or May of last year. You know what, right? If you would like to say anything, you're more than welcome to. It's just the timing of it all, you know? Everyone else gets jammed up, but the two who admit that they've worked with the FBI, they don't get jammed up. They get to live their best lives. It's not cool. It's not cool. Right side of Floyd, if you want to come in and say something, you're more than welcome to. You're more than welcome to. Anyway, just some quick announcements that I had. So, just to recap, everyone find Paul Davis on Twitter or LinkedIn and send him a thank you note for helping Chad with his case against Facebook. Really, really important. Okay. Make sure if you have a Facebook account that you go vote for Barbie in the Inked Magazine CoverGirl contest. And if anybody would like a copy of this indictment, if you want to read it for yourselves, then I'd be happy to send it to you. Just email me at redpill_rage@protonmail.com. Oh, you don't know what happened with Enrique. So let me just ask you this. What do you mean by you don't know what happened with Enrique? You don't know what happened with Enrique that day? Or you don't know what happened with him in the past? Like, what are you referring to? That's my question to you. Because you just said you knew him personally. Okay, let me just inform you, meeting somebody at a rally is not knowing them personally. I've met every conservative who's big in the game. It doesn't mean I know them personally. I might know them better than the average person would know them because I got to spend personal time with them. But don't think because you had a beer with somebody or you went to an event with somebody that you fucking know who they are. Just don't do that. Okay. I have literally stabbed all of my conservative friends in the back. You know why? It wasn't because I don't. I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. And I'm sure, and I thank you. I thank you as a patriot and as a woman. I thank you for being those men who were willing to do that. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. That's why I fell in love with the fraternity. I believe in everything that you guys stand for, and it breaks my heart the way the media has treated you. Okay? But don't think because somebody is a hothead and a drunk and they like to fight, that makes them a hero. Okay? Now I know Enrique doesn't drink, at least as far as my knowledge goes. Okay? Maybe a little toot toot, but we all have. Most of us have. I worked in the restaurant industry for 19 years, so I am fully admit that, I've done a little toot toot in my life too. Done a little rootin' tootin'. Okay? I'm just saying, like, just because somebody does one good thing or a few good things or a few positive things does not mean that they're a hero. Okay? There are many conservatives that I used to hold in such high regard, because I thought they were the real deal. But the truth is, they were scam artists. Some of them, sorry, let me rephrase. Some of them were scam artists. Some of them were t-shirt salesmen, like Enrique. Okay. Some of them were pretending to be serious about running for public office and then partied all of their donations away. Some conservatives were just in the Maga movement for a photo op. Okay? And as much as it pains me to say that, after being out visiting, going to rallies across the country, events across the country for a really long time, rubbing shoulders with everyone and anyone you can think of, I have learned that the hard way. And that is why I am such a hypercritical scrutinizer of people, not people, but influencers in this movement. Because I have seen not just what they're like behind closed doors, but I have seen a pattern of misappropriations of money, misappropriations of resources, squandering opportunities that were given to them, misleading people. I've seen quite a bit of it. And that is why I'm so hard on everyone. And honestly, even though it's nice to make videos with other influencers and get the names that people know and get people to click on my videos when I've done that in the past, honestly, I don't want anyone on this channel that I don't have respect for. Okay? So I am sad. I am truly, truly sad that Enrique is probably going to go to jail. I don't want him to go to jail, but it's because I don't want any of the boys in jail. Okay? But again, like I said, if everyone else has to suffer, then I guess he does too. And it's sad. And it breaks my heart. And it's not good. But anyway, I'm sure the fraternity in 2019 is very different than it is now. I'm glad you're retired. I'm sorry that you're having you had health issues, but thank you for what you did. I appreciate it. As a woman and as a patriot, I appreciate what you did. I really do. So, anyhow, that's about all I have to say. I'm done. If anybody, it doesn't matter who, if anybody wants to jump in the stream, I can talk for another 15 minutes or so. I'm kind of lonely. So, I'm not quite ready to go to bed yet, but I do need to work tomorrow. I'd love to speak with anyone who would like to speak. Otherwise, we'll just wrap it up. By the way, I'm reading a new book. It's called It's Your Ship by Captain D. Michael Broshoff, and I hope I said that correctly. It's management techniques from the best damn ship in the Navy. Because again, lack of leadership amongst conservatives is what is killing our country. We can blame the radical left. We can blame the commies, the Satanists, the pedophiles, the elitists. We can blame them all we want. But when it comes to real leadership, we don't have it. It's nowhere to be found. It's nowhere to be found. That is why I did a series on the art of war to talk about the qualifications of a general. In fact, I'll just go get it since no one's jumping in. I need to remind you. Let me go ahead and remind you what we need, what I have been looking for in other people and cannot find. And then if you want, you can kind of compare and contrast, and you can kind of decide for yourself whether or not Mr. Tario has ever fulfilled these qualifications. Okay, so strength, wisdom, knowledge, credibility, nope. Strictness, nope. Courage, yeah, plenty of courage. But there's a lot of people who get beer balls. It doesn't mean that they have courage. There's a difference between being brave and being a liability. Let that fucking sink in. There's a difference between being brave and being a liability. Skillful analyst, unconcerned by fame, unconcerned by punishment, places the army first, tranquil, obscure, upright, self-disciplined, strong commander, clever, inventive, and all-encompassing talents. Did Enrique fulfill that role? Or was he just ratchet? Ratchet as fuck. And ratchet and controversial. Brave, yes. About it? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I will never take that away from him. Absolutely. But you can be brave and be ratchet at the same time. Just saying. Weaknesses of a general. Unenlightened, brutalizes and fears the masses, not strict, loves the people, committed to life, unable to fathom the enemy, obsessed with achieving fame for purity or vanity. Easily angered, hasty to act, arrogant, weak, and that is the qualifications of a poor commander. So, I am not making this shit up. I'm not pulling this out of my ass. Okay? I'm going by what other people say that know more than I do. Because the only thing I know how to run is a kitchen. I don't know how to run a campaign. I don't know how to run a large national organization. I don't know how to do any of that. But I do know this. There are certain attitudes and behaviors and mindsets that a leader has. And then there's certain attitudes, behaviors, and mindsets that a grifter has. All I'm saying, I'm just comparing and contrasting. Listen, I thank you for everything you've done. No one is questioning the sacrifice and putting your skin in the game. 100%. You've put your skin in the game. I'm not talking about you. Okay? I'm just saying drunk motherfuckers, whether they're patriots or liberals, like to fight. So when you put drunk motherfuckers in front of Antifa, that does not necessarily equate to bravery. It doesn't equate to heroism in every circumstance. I love you. Thank you. Uhuru. Thank you for what you did. I respect you for what you did. Brave in the doesn't mean that the fraternity was wise when they hired him to be a fucking publicist. You do not put someone like that in a marketing position. Fucking business. That's it. Okay? Now, you can be mad at me if you want. I've already burned my bridges with a lot of fucking people, and I don't care. Because you know what? They're all fucking t-shirt salesmen anyway. They don't have the qualities. They don't have the qualities of a commander. And I'm too old. I'm too old to play the fucking clicks and likes and comments game. I'm tired of it. I've been doing it for 2 years. I'm done. I want action items. I want results. I'm a result-driven person. I know I sound crazy right now. I have ran in the same circles as these people for long enough. And I am exhausted with the talking. I need us as conservatives, if we're going to save America, we have got to start thinking bigger. We have to stop being reactionary. We have to go on the offense. And we have to clean up our fucking act. We need to stop donating to people who are squandering your money while there are people like Zach rotting in prison whose baby needs fucking Pampers. We need to stop selling t-shirts. We need to stop this conservative fucking circle jerk. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of watching conservatives just fucking masturbate all over each other. Yes, we know how evil the Democrats are. We know how terrible the radical left is. Yeah, we know. Okay, next. What's next? Nobody has anything. Nobody has anything. Nobody has anything to say. Nobody has any action items except me. I'm the only one. I'm the only one who's coming up with action items. And this is after 2 fucking years of being in this fight. I am here to lead the resistance. But I will figure out how to do it in a way that is effective and not emotional. Y'all know, can you imagine if you were a cook and you worked for me? You would either love me or you would hate me. The only reason I am hypercritical of my employees when I was a manager was because I wanted them to be better than I was. You see, I don't have pride and I don't have vanity. I don't care about me. I've already died and come back to life. I don't care about me. I could give 2 shits about Jenny. Jenny is nobody. I care about all of us. I care about restoring the beautiful America that I grew up in, the America that didn't have cancel culture, the America where it didn't matter. You didn't have to watch your back. You didn't have to change your name. You didn't have to cover your face. You didn't have to go underground to speak your mind. No one was making death threats to anyone. And even if you were a fucking Democrat, even if you were a fucking Democrat, you weren't worshiping the devil. You weren't out there trying to start wars. You weren't hateful of your coworkers and neighbors that were Republicans. Yeah, you were maybe a little more progressive on the race shit and the gay shit, but overall you still considered yourself an American. That's the America I fucking knew. That's the America of the 80s and the 90s that I grew up in. That's when America was great. So all this t-shirt sales and talking shit to each other, and Enrique fucking hates me, and Bevelyn Beatty versus Bryson Gray, and Kim Classic versus Candace Owens, and all this other dumb shit that I do like making videos about. I'm just saying, we need a little gossip in our lives, I'm gonna listen. I like to provide we need to have a little bit of laughs and a little bit of entertainment here and there. Okay, we do. But all of this shit is fucking like I'm bored. I'm bored with it. I'm bored with it. We are so endangered and we are being hunted. So if we don't go on the offense real fucking soon, it's going to be it's only going to get worse. Who's BMT? Lawrence, who's BMT? I don't know who that is. Thank you. Thank you. Proud of your boy. Proud of your boy. I still love y'all. I really do. I'm mad at a lot of y'all. I'm mad at a lot of people. I'm mad at a lot of chapters. I'm mad at a lot of presidents. But deep down, I love what you guys stand for. And despite the fact that, most of y'all are alcoholics, and I hate alcoholics, you are still men that put a lot on the line to protect other people. You are still men who stood up when the police would not. Oh, BMT. That dude still writes me emails harassing me. I had to put him in my spam folder so I wouldn't see them. I know he watches the show. I know he watches the show. Anyway, you all have a wonderful night. I've said everything I have to say. Number 1, Barbie. Number 2, Paul Davis. And if you want a copy of this indictment, I'll be happy to send it to you. Good night, everyone. I got to work tomorrow.